Are you able to see my
Yes, we
screen?
are. We are.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So today we are going to discuss about object-oriented programming, OOPS concept. And in this one, introduction, history, what exactly is OOPS, what is object, what is classes. In basic concept, we will discuss about encapsulation, inheritance, abstraction, and polymorphism. So
when you can make full screen presentation. And that will help everybody. Just go to presentation mode so that it becomes full screen. No. You're not in presentation mode. Are you? That's better. Thank you.
So before OOPS, we will discuss what exactly programming is. So a computer program is a step-by-step instruction for a computer. So suppose if we have to print hello world, then we are saying like print hello world to computer, and computer is taking that sentence and printing hello world. So programming is basically a step-by-step instruction for computer. And this step-by-step process we call algorithm. So for every computer program, we have to write down a basic algorithm. Algorithm is nothing more than instructions for computers. So programming language is also divided into three different families or different type of programming. One is machine language, one is assembly, and one is high level language. So machine language is like 0 and 1 binary format. Mainly we are writing machine language for compilers. You can see the example codes like 111010000. Such type of programming we are writing for compilers like microprocessors 8080 and that converted directly into machine codes. Assembly language is easier than machine language 0 and 1, and in this one we provide a set of element command. So in this one, like we are providing add 100100, such type of binary and some string we can provide in assembly language. And next one is high level language. High level language is like C, C++, Java. In this one, we can provide syntax like English language like gross pay, base pay, overtime pay. And compiler convert it into machine language and then computer process that instruction. So again, in high level language, we group it into two different language, procedural and object-oriented programming. So basically, procedural language is functional language where we take approach like top to down, where instructions are. So when we provide instruction, compiler did it from top to down, and it's basically a function that cannot be reused. But in object-oriented programming, whatever we are writing, it's in form of object and it can be reused. So suppose if we are providing one function or method for any work that can be reused in any other class or any other place. So in object-oriented programming, we have basic concept of class and object. So class is a blueprint. So suppose when we are saying a laptop, that laptop is a class. It's like a complete group of different laptop like HP or Dell. And when we are saying object, that time we are saying a specific type of that laptop. like HP laptop, it may have a 14-inch screen or may have a silver color or black color. So class is like a high level blueprint where we are saying that this one is behavior. So if we are saying a laptop, it may have a keyboard, screen. But when we are saying object, that time we are defining a specific type of that class or a specific type of blueprint. So high-level language started from Lisp, Fortran, COBOL to Algo 160 to Simula. Simula was the first object-oriented programming. In modern programming language, we have Java, Python, PHP, C Sharp, C++, Visual Basic. And Simula was the first object-oriented programming language, Simula 1 and Simula 62, developed in 1960. And it was designed for doing simulation work. And basically, it started the complete family of object-oriented programming. After Simula, developers, scientists, programmers started developing object-oriented programming. So objects or function can be reused. So now we will start object-oriented programming. So OOPS is mainly a program design philosophy where we use objects and mainly object is everything in OOP is grouped as a self-sustainable objects. It can be reused. So when we define object-oriented programming, we define data type like int, string, data structure, type of operation, method that can be applied on that data structure, and also provide function or method in that object like print, speak, or run. That type of method we provide. We provide data like string, name, int, age. Such type of thing we provide in programs. And also we provide a different object and their relationship between them. So suppose if we are providing a program like bank account, then we also provide a different class where we can withdraw that money and or we can deposit that money. In bank account, we provide account data type like account number, account name, account type, it's saving or current account. So when we develop any object or any class for object-oriented programming, we have to think about what exactly we are going to provide as a function or method like withdraw money, deposit money. Then we have to think about the data it's going to hold, like variables, account name, balance, deposit amount. So in OOPS concept, when we apply OOPS in programming, we break down our program into different small pieces and think about reusability. So suppose if we are providing a method withdraw money, then we will reuse same function or method into current account also and saving account also. But when we are using a functional or procedural program, then we have to rewrite that piece of code. But in object-oriented program, we will just provide a single place and we will use wherever we want to withdraw money, even if it's saving account, even if it's a current account. Yes, sir.
You may, sort of take slight, stops in between and ask people whether they're able to understand, because these are concepts which are important. I think all of us need to understand it very well.
Yes, sir.
questions. Have you understood the basic fundamentals of what an object-oriented is?
Yes, so far so good. I mean, the reusability is coming out as a very strong theme.
Okay, but what is an object? What is a class? Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So I will repeat again. So
Yes,
basically,
sir.
Program is set of instructions.
Mhm.
So we are instructing a computer to do something,
Mhm.
and we are saying it in a formal way, so computer can understand it. And that formal instruction called algorithm. We have a different way of doing that this programming. One is old way, functional or procedural, and one is object oriented. In functional, it's like our day-to-day life where we are giving instruction. It's like top to down. We start writing, do this thing, do this thing, do this thing. And we are just providing an instruction and we are doing that work. We are not thinking about reusability of that program or that code snippet. But when we are doing object oriented, that time we are thinking about, so let's do not repeat same function or same instruction everywhere. Write down that instruction or set of instruction, give a name or like a functional name or method name and reuse it. So suppose if we are providing a method name check balance.
Okay.
That time in normal procedural programming or functional programming, we will write down this same method for a saving account. Again, when we are providing same functionality into a current account, we will write down same method, same instruction. We will repeat same line of codes again in current account also. But in object-oriented programming, we will write down it a single place and we will reuse it. What we are doing in object-oriented programming is we are reusing our component. We are writing a way that can be reused. That's the main difference between procedural and object-oriented programming.
Okay.
So what exactly object? Object and class. Mainly class is a blueprint. When we are saying a car is mainly showing us that it's a blueprint, like every car has four wheels, a body, steering, engine. But when we are seeing object, that time we are seeing a specific type of that car, like Maruti 800, Tiago. In same way in laptop or like human being, it's a class, it's a blueprint. When we are saying an object of it, it's like Ved Prakash or Raghav. So class is basically providing us the overall picture, its behavior, how it will look and feel. When we are saying object, it's providing a specific type of that class. Like we have one class car. But when we are creating one object of that class, that time we will provide attribute also, means behavior data also. That data may be color, color of that car, price of that car. So mainly object-oriented programming is object, and that object is one part of that class, that blueprint.
Okay.
So any Raghav, any difficulty in understanding class and object?
No, sir, all clear. So I have just one question. In the previous slide, you mentioned a self-sustaining object. So what does that mean?
Which page? I will come to that one. First, we will discuss about class and object.
Sure, sir.
So class is just a prototype, idea, and blueprint. Using that blueprint, we are creating that object like cookie cutter. So That object is just an instance of that class.
Okay.
And in Java, we use constructor for creating that object. So how we will instruct any computer to create one object from that class? Like you have one car or you have laptop, but you want a specific laptop. You are creating that one into factory. Same way in program, how we will ask for a specific object from a class. So for that purpose, we have a constructor. Constructor is keyword from Java. We use it for create object. So in Java or any program, when we say that we want such type of object, that time we provide, like we want a Maruti 800. Then we will ask for a specific color, price, brand name, and from class we will get that type of object. So suppose if we have in Java we have a class car, then we will say like car equal to new car, and we will pass price, color, such type of variable field, and we will get that type of object. And any class hold three type of thing. First is name. So if we are defining any class, we will define a name also. So we can call that class. And that class properties means fields like price or color or anything, or methods. Methods are like what exactly we want to do with that function or class.
Where would you like to give an example of these three attributes of a class? Just some very basic example.
Like we have a class of student, class student. After that, we have a student name, student roll number, student subject.
Okay.
So that's a property. Now, if we will ask for, or we will create an object from this class, that time we will provide a specific roll number, a specific name of that student.
Okay.
So first we will define student or employee. Suppose we are defining employee of Access Health. Then we will provide a class name employee. After that, we will provide company name Access Health. And after that, we will provide a name. So first we provide just a string like company name. We will not provide Access Health. And after that, we will provide name, employee, employment ID. And now using this class, you can create employee Ved Prakash. You have to just provide employee ID of Ved Prakash, employee name as Ved. Using same class, you can create Apurva or Raghav. So just you have to provide that name, employment ID, different employment name and ID. But you are creating a different Apurva or Raghav or Ved employee object from same employee class. So class basically providing you a blueprint where you are asking for name, employment ID, and using that you are creating a different object like Raghav, Apurva or Ved. The example is clear?
Yes. Yes.
And suppose after this you provided employee name, employee ID. Now you will do something with this class or object. Like you will assign some programming work, like create MVP to Ved or Raghav or someone. So that's a method. So once you have a class employee, after that you have an object like Akriti, Raghav, and now you have a method. So assign work. You want to do something with, you hire Raghav or Akriti, but after that you want something from them, some method, some work. What you will do with the object? So you will assign something. For that purpose, we have method.
Okay.
So we have one example in
Yeah,
Java.
method is not an easy concept to understand. It will take a little while before everybody gets method. But it's
Yes,
better to understand the class and object and wait for the clarity on method to emerge. As you get deeper into programming, you'll understand what method are.
Yes, sir. So we have
I think
one example.
Wait, I'll just take 1 minute, half a minute,
Yes, ma'am.
just to say that I'm
Yes,
a
ma'am.
non-technical person. I'm a non-technical person, but I'm finding it very interesting because, in computer also, I think it's like a story only what we do in our communication or anything. So it's very interesting.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you.
Yes. So we have one example mainly in Java here. Syntax may look this one is Java syntax. So using this class bicycle, we define one class, and after that, whatever we provided as int, it's basically a property that this class is going to hold. And after that, whatever we provided as a void, it's a method. Void means it will not return anything. So this may be a little bit advanced right now. So in basic, conceptually, it's just a class with property and method. So maybe we can explain it much better with account example. So we have one class account. In account, we have different variable honor, balance, account number, transaction. So again, this class can be extended into deposit account and current account. So in object-oriented programming, one class can extend another class also. So main benefit is when we are providing a single class with any variable, any properties like account number or anything. And again, we have to define same account type as a saving or current. Then instead of again defining same field, we can define common field in our parent class, like our account class, and we can extend that class and we will provide only specific properties into subclass.
Okay.
So suppose we have a class manager. All managers are basically employee also.
Mhm.
So if we are defining first name, last name, email ID in employee class, then no need to define again same field in manager class. We will only define manager specific property into manager class. We will provide common properties into employee class. And manager class will inherit all the properties from employee class, parent class. So every manager is basically employee also. Every deposit account and current account is a account first. Then it's a specialization like deposit account or current account. Same way, every employee is first an employee. Then it's a manager.
Sure.
Where it'll be important to
Yes.
tell them that this is inheritance. So
Yes,
so
sir.
yeah.
I will come into inheritance part also. Yes, sir.
Okay. No, if it is coming up, that's okay. I just thought you can do that later also. Hello. Not able to hear you, Ved. Is something missing?
Was he speaking at all?
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Hello. So Aditi, Apurva, Raghav, any confusion in object and class or its property, object reusability?
No, sir.
It's clear.
It's clear.
No, sir.
So now we will move into more technical definition of object. So an object is a computational entity that encapsulates some state. What exactly meaning of encapsulate? So encapsulation means it's hold properties data. It perform action. So it's we are saying object will keep method also in this state, and it will communicate via message passing. So one object will call another object, or one object will call another object method. So if we have X car and its properties and move forward, move backward, move right, left, stop, so method. Then these properties are state and these methods are behavior of that object.
Okay.
And each copy of an object from a particular class is called an instance of that class.
Okay.
So this instance word is from programming, where whenever we create any object from any class, then we call it's an instance of that class. The act of creating of an instance of an class is called instantiation. So whenever we are creating any object, we call. So in Java we have a constructor. Using that constructor, we create a new Java object.
Mhm.
Again, same explanation of object. It's a main difference between class and object. Class is a data type, object is an instance of class. Class generate objects, object give life to class. Class normally do not occupy memory location, but object occupy memory location. Class cannot be manipulated, but object can be manipulated. So single object in isolation is mainly like functional programming, functional program. If we cannot reuse that object, it's same like any procedural program. So normally we define more than one object, and we provide some type of communication between both objects, so both can collaborate with each other. And when we design any object, we provide a single behavior So every object will be responsible for its own. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, sir. So how one object will interact with different object? So in any object, if we are defining method, then different object, since if we have object 1 and object 2, object 1 define method M1 and object 2 O2 define method M2. Then when we have to provide collaboration between these two objects, object O1 will call method M2. So it will be more like object O1 dot M2 and O2 dot M1. So in this image, you can see object 1 with property and method, object 2 with property and method, and it will call object. If we have more than 2 object 3, then object 1 will call object 3, object 2 will call object 3. But object 1 will also, it can also call object 2. And object 2 can call object 1. Any question?
So which object can call which object is defined in the method, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And with method, we also provide like public, private, protected, access type, how they can communicate with other objects. Yes. So suppose if it's a private, no other class object can access that method. If it's protected, then only, yes.
So between classes, the public and private is between, okay.
No, it's class level also, method level also.
Okay.
So in object-oriented programming concept is mainly divided in 4 different parts: encapsulation, inheritance, abstraction, and polymorphism. So whenever we are developing or designing any object-oriented program, we think about these 4 different main pillars: encapsulation, inheritance, abstraction, and polymorphism. So in encapsulation, whenever we define anything in object like a name or date of birth or email ID, that property we have to hide. That's called encapsulation.
Okay.
So why we are hiding that properties? Suppose in employee class we provided simply without any hiding, we provided name, employment ID, and maybe some other class may call that property and change that variable field. Maybe it can be someone may change employee property name wage to maybe Ajay. That may even not be an employee of Access Health. To control such type of behavior or provide such type of validation, we provide encapsulation.
Okay.
Maybe suppose age. Age field will be always positive. By mistake, maybe some client class, some object may define age as a -27 or -30. So we always need some type of validation in variables field properties. So when we are providing such type of validation, we call it encapsulation. Okay. And it's necessary to provide such type of validation. So when we are defining that properties in class or object, we have to define some kind of control, how our property should behave and how it cannot be changed. that part is encapsulation.
Okay.
So in a normal program, we use one specific type of method like getter and setter. So in setter, instead of directly object calling that variable, it will call that method. In method, we will verify if that age is in normal range, or it's positive or negative, or if that Ajay or whatever name is really an employee of this organization or not. Such type of validation, we provide a method, and using that method only, we can change the properties of that object.
Okay.
So this part is encapsulation. So basically, we provide our variable as a private. So only that object or that class can change that properties. And other class or object, whenever want to change that property, it will call a method. In method, we will validate that input, and only after successful validation, we will change that property.
Okay. And the encapsulation is an automatic process when you build an object using constructor?
No, it's just a concept. We have to write down that code.
Okay. Okay.
So encapsulation basically says that protect your properties or validate your properties. How you are going to validate, it's up to you.
Okay. Okay. Fine.
So basic concept is so whenever you are providing any property, encapsulate it from outside world.
Okay. Okay.
And so do not give a direct access to other object.
Sure.
That's
so
fine.
it's one of the first step in constructing an object. Right.
After constructing object, yes.
Okay. Fine. Fine. It's one of the steps in constructing an object.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Okay. Fine.
It's basically same thing. Encapsulation allow adding some logic when accessing clients data, verifying and validating, hiding implementation detail, reduce complexity, easier maintenance. Now inheritance. So inheritance is a way of organizing classes, and it's mainly reusability of properties. As I mentioned, if we have a class animal, and now we have horse and cat, so we can combine main properties, and we can define that properties into animal, and we can provide only a specific property to subclasses like horse or cat. Same way in banking domain, where we provide account number or account owner variables into our parent class, and in our current class or subclass, we provide a specific type of properties. In employee and manager also, employee is parent class and manager is subclass. In manager, we provide specific variables properties, and in employee class, we provide first name, last name, email ID. If we will not use such type of thing, then we have to write down two different classes, employee and manager. In manager also, we have to provide first name, last name. So even in our MVP, when we define patient registration, we have patient. And in patient, we are providing name, first name, last name, email ID, DOB. But same thing we are repeating again in doctor and nurse. So instead of repeating same thing in doctor also, in doctor class also, we have to provide first name, last name, email ID, DOB. In patient, we are providing same thing. In nurse, we are providing same thing. And maybe after some time, if we will add more different type of medical worker, healthcare worker, we will define again a class. So instead of doing that thing, we can provide a generic class as a user or employee, where we can provide first name, last name, DOB. And as a person type or person profile, we can define the person profile as a patient, person profile as a doctor, person profile as a nurse. So in that way, we can reduce a lot of code.
Yes.
Suppose we have a method like register patient. In register patient, we are registering a patient. But somehow we have to also provide doctor registration. If some doctor joined at hospital, we have to register that doctor also, nurse also. So in that registration, we will repeat same thing. Like we will store first name, last name, email ID, and a lot of details will be same. So why not define a same class person as a parent class, extend that class, and provide patient specific information into patient subclass, doctor specific information in doctor class, and nurse specific into nurse class. That way we can reuse a lot of property, a lot of method. We can provide a single registration module where we can register all the doctors, patient, and nurse. So that part is inheritance. Inheritance means subclass will inherit all the functionality or properties from parent class. Any doubt? Hello?
Everybody went to sleep.
No.
No, sir.
No doubts, Ved.
No doubts.
So same thing here. Inheritance allows child classes to inherit the characteristic of existing parent class, attributes, field and properties, and operation.
Okay.
And after inheriting all the attribute field, it can provide its subclass specific method and can use same attribute. Suppose if first name, last name is not defined into subclass, it's defined in parent class. But again, if we are registering nurse, it will take all the properties from our parent class, person class, and it will create register nurse method can use same variables from parent class. And also we have to redefine any specific nurse behavior method. We will provide that one into subclass.
Perfect. Understood.
So it's provide a code reusability. So basically it's the same thing, same explanation. So in inheritance hierarchy, we can see it's a superclass vehicle, motorcycle, automobile, bus. Vehicle is superclass, and automobile, motorcycle, bus, sport car, school bus, luxury bus. All classes are subclasses.
Okay.
So again, we have a concept of single inheritance and double inheritance. In single inheritance, one class is from another. So parent class will be single, like account. It's a single account, and from account we have two different subclass: saving and current account. But sometimes, like bird, in flying thing and animal, bird can have a flying thing also, and it will inherit from animal also. Multiple inheritance. In multiple inheritance, it will reuse its properties from more than one parent class. So any subclass can have more than one parent class in multiple inheritance. Normally, it's a very less supported feature, and Java not provides this type of inheritance.
Okay.
Next part is abstraction. So again, abstraction is a design principle. So sometime we have to provide a method that's same way like property in inheritance. We have properties that's common in parent and subclass. So we are defining common in parent. In the same way, sometimes we have a method that's common, but behavior may be different. Suppose we have animal and we have a method eat. And we may have a subclass like horse that eat grass, but may have a subclass cat that will eat mouse. Same way, we may have a different method of subclass that will provide a different type of behavior. Horse will eat grass or different thing. Cat will eat different thing. Dog may eat that, but for example, it may have a different type of behavior. So in that time, in animal class or parent class, we will not provide any behavior. We will just provide like one method with abstract keyword. So we will provide in animal class one method abstract eat. In that way, we are just saying that whoever subclass will extend this class will implement it, but they are free to implement their own way. So in this way, we are forcing our subclass to implement same method, but they can implement it in a different way, their way. So that part, that eat, when we are saying abstract eat or abstract keyword when we are adding, and we are defining that in parent class and forcing our subclass to implement that method or behavior, but we are saying you feel free to implement your own way. That's a part is abstraction. Any confusion, Raghav?
No, sir. Subclass. सर एक बार आप दोबारा बता दो।
देखो पेरेंट क्लास है।
हाँ सर।
हमें पेरेंट क्लास देना है और हमें फोर्स भी करना है कि जो भी सब क्लास को इस पेरेंट क्लास को यूज करे उसे ये बिहेवियर देना ही है, ये मेथड देना ही है, पर मैं ये भी नहीं बोलूंगा कि कैसे देना है।
ठीक है सर।
जैसे आरबीआई ने कहा कि विथड्रॉ मनी आपको ये फंक्शन देना है, अब कैसे आपके अकाउंट से होगा वो मुझे नहीं पता, लेकिन आप ऑनलाइन दे रहे हो बैंकिंग तो आपको विथड्रॉ मेथड देना ही है, ये फंक्शन प्रोवाइड करना है, कैसे करना है आप जाना।
ठीक है सर, थैंक यू।
सेम वे पेरेंट क्लास को जब फोर्स करना होता है डिजाइन पैटर्न की ये बिहेवियर देना है, वो एक तरह का कॉन्सेप्ट है कि ये बिहेवियर सबको मानना होगा। उस टाइम में हम उसको क्या करते हैं कि मेथड का बस फंक्शन या डिफिनेशन, वो मेथड इंप्लीमेंटेशन नहीं देते हैं, बस उस मेथड का नेम दे करके और पैरामीटर डिफाइन करते हैं कि ये इनपुट आउटपुट होगा, एब्स्ट्रैक्ट कीवर्ड दे देते हैं। अब हम ये बता देते हैं कि ये करना है, इनपुट ये होगा, आउटपुट ये होगा, कैसे करो, क्या उसके लिए डिफाइन करोगे तुम पे। हम बोल रहे हैं कि डॉग, कैट, रैट इन्हें खाना है, क्या खाएंगे उन पे हम छोड़ रहे हैं, पर खाना है। तो ये एब्स्ट्रैक्शन है। इसमें हम क्या कर रहे हैं कि बिहेवियर को एब्स्ट्रैक्ट कर ले रहे हैं, पेरेंट क्लास में दे रहे हैं और कैसे वो इंप्लीमेंट करना है नहीं बता रहे हैं। इस तरीके से हम एक डिजाइन पैटर्न को इन्फोर्स कर रहे होते हैं।
ठीक है।
जैसे हम ऑफिस में ही 10 to 6 आना है, उसके बाद क्या करना है इससे में मतलब नहीं है, लेकिन आना है 10 to 6 ऑफिस अटेंड करना है। ये ऑफिस अटेंड करना है जो है वो एब्स्ट्रैक्ट है, हो गया। तो आप आके क्या कैसे कर रहे हो वो बिहेवियर सब हर एम्प्लॉय का अलग होगा, फंक्शनल टीम का अलग हो सकता है, टेक्निकल का अलग हो सकता है। तो ये कॉमन बिहेवियर को जो डिफाइन कर रहे हैं ना वो अब्स्ट्रैक्ट है.
ठीक.
तो अब क्या है, when we are defining something with abstract keyword, any method, that time we are not providing any implementation of that method. So whenever any class extending that class, they have to provide implementation of that method. Now last concept is polymorphism. So polymorphism means same name but different behavior, different type of performance, and its generic meaning is many shape. So mainly in Java or object-oriented programming, we provide polymorphism using method overloading and method overriding. So suppose in animal we provided the same method but not abstract. We provided implementation 8 and animal 8s. But in subclass we want to provide a method, same method 8, but we want to change that behavior, is how this method will behave different way. In abstraction we just enforce the contract concept that this method name should be 8 and you have to provide that implementation, and in abstraction we provided input and output definition. But in polymorphism, whenever we are providing any definition or any method in parent class, we can change that method behavior into subclass. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
So suppose we have a class, parent class animal, and we provided one method animal sound, and in this one we provided system out println the animal make a sound. So in this example, it's very simple. One class, parent class, and public void animal sound is a method, and this system out println is a method behavior of how this method will work. So when we will run this part of code, it will print the animal make a sound. And in this one, the method name is animal sound. But suppose if one more class pig extended this animal class, and now we provided a same method name animal sound. But in this one, system out println, we provided the pig says VV. And same way we can extend dog, extend animal, and animal sound we can provide a dog say bow bow. So when we will run this program, the same animal sound of class animal, same method name, if you can see the method names are same, will behave differently. So if it's a class pig running this program, then it will say VV. If a dog run this program, it will say bow wow. So same animal or method name behave a different way based on subclass. Which subclass invoking this one will behave this method a different way. So same method name can behave like a different method based on subclass. That's called a polymorphism. Same name but different behavior. Raghav, Aditi, any confusion in understanding this program?
No, sir.
Oh, sir, it's clear.
Same way, if we in our parent class we have draw, then in our subclass, we may have same methods, C draw, T draw, S draw, and that behavior will be different. Any questions?
No, sir.
So basically we have procedural and object-oriented programming. In object-oriented procedural, it's line by line from top to down. It will read like a simple English, and it will work based on per instruction, means per line instruction. It will not provide any encapsulation, inheritance, or polymorphism. But in object-oriented, we can reuse our code. We will write down codes a way that it can be used by different object, different class. Object is just one instance of class, like class is blueprint, and objects are instance of that class. In object-oriented programming, we have 4 pillars: encapsulation, inheritance, abstract, and polymorphism. Inheritance is just how we are reusing properties of our parent class. In abstraction, how we are going to force a method level contract to our subclass. In polymorphism, how we are going to reuse methods name, how we are going to override or overload our method name. In encapsulation, how we are validating our properties. So basically it's a OOPS concept, and it's mainly a theory part. And when we will start Java programming, that time we will see this theory in action, this concept in converting into action. That's all from my side.
Okay. Let's take